Looking to try and advance here in Group C, because still everything is to play for here, down to the very last series for every single one of these players. Welcome back to the desk, as we do have, to my right-hand side, are Tosis and Pig. Everyone looking very kind of dark and gothic today. I don't mind it, that's okay. I normally do, but I've gone with a more vibrant color this time around.
Well, you're the more vibrant man, so
no, I don't
be that way.
Well, anyway, we do have two series that are going to be followed by you gentlemen. We have Cyril going up against Pili over by Pig, and we will have Zest versus True for our Tosis, as the crowd here in Poland get very much so into the games and are rooting for Nerchio to advance on. So guys, what do we think here? Final series of the day, Nerchio versus Patience is coming up soon.
Yeah, and of course, this is super important. If Nerchio loses here, that is really, that's going to hurt him. That's his run is done. Everyone is looking to win this last match. It's so important. So the thing is, I think Nerchio can do it.
Yes,
his ZvP is on point. I think that Patience, he should know and be aware of what Patience's style is. A lot of sentry pushes and everything. So I'm feeling it, man.
Patience hasn't looked as keen as I've seen him in the past kind of year, I would say. He especially going up against some of the Zergs before. What do you think, Pig?
Yeah, Patience did look a little bit nervous on stage. That's kind of his personality. He's usually a bit of a shy guy, tries to collect himself before his matches. But he had a very rough start to the group. He lost his first two matches. He was coming last place. Now he's tied for second place, of course, along with Zest and Nerchio, all at 5 map wins, 5 map losses. I think Patience can definitely bring this out, but it really is a matter of surprising Nerchio. He's shown he's very solid in the matchup. He's very powerful. Patience just wants to find plays. He wants to make movement happen. It's all about him opening up the aggression.
All right, thanks, gents. As we will head over now to the stage to introduce our players to the stage for the last time in the auditorium, for now at least, as we head over to Snicks.
Welcome back, guys. This is it. It is the final match of Group C, and it all comes down to this. It is the Home Story Cup champion versus a DreamHack champion. Korea versus Poland. Please welcome Patience and Nerchio.
Guys, this is going to be a cracker. Nerchio, the hometown favorite, against Patience, the Home Story Cup champion. Rotterdam, what are you going to say about this series coming up here?
I think it's going to be awesome, man. There are so many different possibilities of how this group is going to play out, so we're not even going to go in there. There's only one thing we can say. If Nerchio wins this 2-0, he is true no matter what. If Patience wins it 2-0, he is true no matter what. With 2 1s and 1 2s, anything is still possible. Obviously, we expect the winner. 2-1 either way should be true, but there is this tiny scenario where that could be not true if everything else plays out in a certain way. But we're not gonna get too deep into that because there are just too many different possible scenarios. All I know, Maynard, is that this series is going to be awesome.
That's right. For all you guys playing at home, we're not going to get too technical in the round robin, but we will just clarify that the winner of this series is guaranteed to be through. So
only if they win 2-0.
If they win 2-0.
Yeah. If it's 2-1, then they should be through, but
90% or something.
Yeah, exactly. It really just depends what happens in the other matches. Of course, those matches are going to be great as well. Sarah is going to go up against Pili. I can't wait for the updates from the desk. This is actually the most important time ever. This feels like the last play day of, let's say, a National Football League. Not talking about NFL, but talking about any sort of football, where there's multiple games going on at once, and one team needs to win and the other team needs to tie, and then they call in at halftime. It's what's the score over there? With this score. That's how this is gonna go, because all 3 best of 3s have a massive impact on each other. Obviously, Zest is gonna go up against True. True has not been looking his best today, but he did have 1 victory in ZvP already, so maybe he can do it against Zest as well. And even with a 2-3 record, there is a tiny bit of hope left for True.
Or maybe not. There's a lot of options here. So many possibilities for Group C, and Group D actually looks like it could pan out to be the same way. There's a lot of really close matches in there and a lot of potential upsets that I'm looking forward to there. And Terrence.
Are you really expecting Dark and Innovation to be 2-2 after 4 games? I'm not.
I think,
Sorry.
I think one of them yes, one of them maybe no.
One of them. All right, I'll hold you to that. I think it's going to be 4-0 and 3-1.
Okay.
These guys are gods, man.
They are gods.
We have seen them in action. You were there at the Intel Extreme Masters Gyeonggi. You watch the GSL every day.
I in fact cast them playing each other in the semi-final of Intel Extreme Masters Gyeonggi with Funka, and that was one of my favorite casts ever, or one of my favorite series ever.
That was a 3-2, right?
Yeah, it was all the way to Game 5. Actually, both the semi-finals of Intel Extreme Masters Gyeonggi were really, really good. Stats Biol and Innovation and Dark were really, really sick.
And the final was legendary.
The final was legendary for all the wrong reasons. But Innovation, you know, he is an Intel Extreme Masters champion. We look forward to him coming out there in Group D. But right now, it's all about Group C. The last match on stage for this group is going to be the hometown favorite Nerchio, the Polish Zerg, one of the contender for the best foreigner in the game against Patience, who's really starting to find his stride as one of the best Protosses in the world. So let's do it, Roddy. Let's get into it. How you doing out there, Katowice? Make some noise for me. In the bottom right here, from Euronics Gaming, this is Nerchio. And in the top left, the Protoss player hailing from Korea, this is Patience. From Dead Pixels.
I just ran into him on the hallway, and I was like, you won? He's like, yes, I win. 2-0 against us, you know. He's like, I still have a chance now. Because things were looking very bad for Patience, incredibly bad. He lost his first 2 series of the day. Then he was 1-1 against Pili Pili. And this final game, of course, on Belshire, everybody's talking about it. Things were looking really bad. And even at the end when he won, a lot of people say that maybe it was still kind of bad, you know. Like, I definitely was very surprised by the outcome of that game. I thought Patience was done for. I thought he was 0-3. I thought it was all over, but he refused to die, and now he's suddenly here playing this very important best of 3 against, obviously, the crowd favorite, King Arthur himself. I'm excited. I really think that even though, you know, some people might be looking at this like, well, Nerchio just lost 2-0 against Pili Pili. How on earth is he going to beat Patience? Can you guys shut up already? Patience plays so different. Like, Pili just sat back, made cannons and carriers. That's how he won. Pili is very good with that. He knows exactly the right amount of Void Rays, Oracles he needs, or Phoenixes, the right amount of Adepts. That's not Patience's playstyle. Patience is not the type of guy to make a bunch of cannons and sit back. So even though Nerchio did just lose 2-0, that doesn't mean he's going to be bad in this best of 3.
That's right. You're absolutely right. Very, very different styles per player, and Patience and Zest kind of have that style where they like to get across the map and get damage done. But, you know, we've seen that Nerchio can put up a fight against Zest. He did go down the series, but they were very close games. And, yeah, so see that the Adept follow up here for Patience, just a regular opening here in PvZ. Nerchio getting speed, droning up. Not a whole lot to talk about in the early stages on Belshire Vestige.
Uh-oh. Maybe we jinxed it. The first Stargate has already been trolled down. Now, of course, this could just be a single Stargate, maybe just an Oracle, maybe 2 Oracles. And after that, Patience is just going to go into a robotics facility, and we're going to see a whole bunch of maybe Immortals later on, a couple of Sentries and stuff being added as well. If we see the second Stargate go down, that could be very bad news for Nerchio. And if that happens, we'll obviously talk about it and talk about the things Nerchio could potentially do. But now, Patience is just being annoying. He's dropping multiple pylons.
Yeah, if he cancels both, that's 50 minerals used there to delay this third. Oh, and he can get the throne as well.
That's sick.
Sick play there from Patience, really delaying this third hatchery by as much as he possibly can.
Man, these small things, no idea how you ever come up with a timing like that. He's like, if I pylon block, and I pylon block again, my Adept will be there just in time to snipe the drone. It's like, how on earth do you come up with this stuff? But apparently he does. He's actually going to commit to his shade in the main. A lot of lost mining time. He gets a drone there as well. Not a good start for Nerchio. Losing 2 drones, late third expand. These are minor things, but they do really add up. And Patience gets out of there.
Looks like Nerchio is going to finally kill that Adept on the reinforcement there. He has a lot of lings, but Patience's wall is not too bad here. He's got 2 pylons covering it, Mothership Core just about to pop out, and Adept's plugging the hole as well. And they're very high hit point, they're very good against lings, and it's going to be Phoenixes here, just 1 Stargate.
Yeah, he made an Oracle, now it's time to make Phoenixes. Could be just a single Phoenix to deal with the Dropper Lord as Photon Overcharge is active. Nerchio actually stayed there a little bit longer than he should have. For a second it looked like he just wanted to kill that pylon. And then he's like, maybe I shouldn't do that because I'm going to end up losing 74 links. he didn't have that many.
Spore Crawler up for Nerchio with the Queen here. That's a very good combo against the Oracle.
Yeah.
Oh, nice save there.
Sloppy control there by Patience. We're expecting a little bit better out of him. Didn't get a single drone kill there, Maynard.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm used to an Oracle always doing damage. I'm just like, how much damage is it going to do? Never zero, but we see 0 damage from this Oracle so far in this game. Can always still come back. It is still alive. The third Nexus coming down here for Patience. And you're right, Roddy, just the one Phoenix at the moment just to stop Drop-A-Lord play. We saw Nerchio do that in Game 1 against Zest. So always a possibility.
But still no Twilight, still no Robo. And this makes me a tiny bit nervous if I'm a Nerchio fan. That's a whole bunch of adepts running across the map, but there's no resonating glaives. This is a push that has really become a lot more popular. Harsum likes to do this as well, and a couple of other European protosters. Nerchio's making 16 additional links now. The Roach Warren, however, is quite late. And even though these adepts don't have resonating glaives, they will still be alright against Zerglings.
Yeah, they pack quite a punch, absolutely. This third hatchery, he's just left it. He knows that, you know, wow. This shade from Patience, questionable decision here as he gets completely surrounded by Lings and the Queens are going to burn them through.
Yes, questionable. That's the only way we can put it, Maynard, without being too hard on the players.
I have to be very nice when I commentate, Roddy.
Now that was great by Nerchio. Obviously, he's able to pick off 6, 7 adepts, I believe it was. How many adepts was it?
I think it was 6. Oh, 7 in total. So
yeah,
there was one in the middle, yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. No resonating glaives obviously makes these adepts pretty bad if they get surrounded. They would have been alright against drones, but getting surrounded like that. Now the Oracle did find an opening, got 5 worker kills, but does Patience have enough to keep his probe safe over here?
The overcharge is going to be enough for now. Nerchio deciding not to commit with his Lings at this third probe line. And, I mean, we can see that Nerchio is aware of this Twilight Council. There goes the Prism, and there is Resonating Glaives and +1. So this is going to look very, very adept-heavy very shortly as Lair goes up here for Nerchio.
He's getting +1 missile attacks, 7 additional drones. I do like the timing of that fort base. It's very fast, but at the same time, Patience is doing what Patience does best, and that's warping in 5 additional gates. With Resonating Glaives finishing up as well, there's a good chance he's going to run across the map soon. He doesn't have an Immortal, correct? It's just pure
Yeah,
gateway?
I don't even... Yeah, we just have the one robotics unit is the War Prism here from this Robo.
So you're going to need a couple Ravages if he's going to march out with those sentries as well, because plenty of force fields will be available. Banelings would be great, but he also has multiple Roaches on the way. Now we do see a Dark Shrine go down as well. This is kind of a bizarre build by Patience, but needless to say, Maynard, he needs to get some damage done if he's going to wipe in 11, 12 adepts.
Yeah, he's going to commit to a ton of gateway units here, almost certainly, and it looks like he's going straight for the main here. Dropping a couple of depths, he may warp in more if he finds a safe little corner, but Nerchio's all over this.
For some reason, Nerchio got a second Hydralisk then. I hope he's aware of the fact that he just started building Hydralisk.
Yeah, he's making a second Hydralisk down. He actually made a second Infestation Pit as well on Abyssal Reef versus Zest. It's like a little bit shaky with that tech structure, but oh well.
It's kind of a shame because it's not a cheap building, and obviously that's a drone as well that he could have been sending towards that fort base. But at least if he loses one, he's got a backup then. The Hydra count is going to be very high. I really like Hydra Bane. I don't think it's going to be Hydra Bane because he didn't get Baning speed yet. It's going to
Lurkers are going to be on the menu. There you go.
Maybe some good old Lurker drops as well. I'd love that. Did he just get the Oracle there?
Yeah, I think he did.
Nice.
Nice. And a nice little move here from Patience as well, denying some of the creep tumor, some of the creep spread for Nerchio, making it a little bit tough to defend that 5th hatchery, which is actually like next door neighbors to Zest. Oh, Patience coming in here with a lot of units.
I don't really know why Nerchio is so eager to get a whole bunch of Hydras out, because all these adepts, if they shade on top of Hydras and there are no Banelings there, things get very rough. Now Nerchio starts adding in a couple of Ravagers. I love this setup here by Patience, really well done. It's just like, okay, that was not necessary. He's like, there's a circling in my base! Photon overcharge!
That caught me by surprise. We got the Lurker down about 3/4 of the way done here. +2 about to finish for the Roaches and the Hydras, which obviously gives them a lot more punch. There's the Ravagers.
Okay, so Lurkers are obviously fantastic against pure Gateway, right? There's no Gateway unit that's incredibly good against the Lurker. Ooh, that would have been a very expensive loss. He's gonna get Blink. He has double Robo, so multiple Immortals are on the way. But if the Hydra, excuse me, if the Lurker count goes very high, while a couple of force fields do go down, questionable fight here.
Yeah, we got the Ravager piles coming down here to break down those force fields for the Zerg army. Nerchio managing to get a big concave, but these 3 Immortals are very, very dangerous. And he is pressing the issue though. The Hydra is closing the gap, and the Immortal's starting to go down as well. Good fight for Nerchio.
That is a massive pickup, because now we can start morphing these Hydralisk into Lurkers, and there is nothing that's good against Lurkers. There's no Robo Base, so no Disruptors. The Immortals were the only thing that could truly take 1 or 2 waves and then still get in range of those Lurkers. Things looking better and better for Nerchio in this game.
That's right, this Prism being annoying here up the map. Lurkers burrowing at the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Patience cannot pick this fight without the important units like the Disruptor, like the Colossus, the units that you need to be able to fight this. And wow, big bank here from Patience.
Yeah, he actually has quite a bit of money. Tried to warp in Dark Templars there, didn't work. He's gonna warp 4 Dark Templars. So Nerchio's just gonna run forward.
Zero chill from Nerchio as he comes in here, burrowing right in the face of Patience's 4th Nexus. This is absolutely gonna go down. And Patience knocked down to 3 bases against a 5-base Zerg. Patience need to get a really good fight here, but how is he going to engage this?
Yeah, his army actually didn't seem that big, and he doesn't have a Warp Prism here. He has a couple of Dark Templars
But
running
there's an Overseer.
Yes, there is, and Patience is going to have to run back. He's going to lose more and more expensive units. Things are starting to look pretty rough for our Korean Protoss.
Oh man, Patience on the back foot, knocked all the way back into his natural. Bailiness going down. Looks like some harassment happening at the 4th hatchery here. That's Nerchio's reinforcements could probably deal with this. Even, well, I mean, Hydra's not super great against the depths, but Nerchio has been doing a great job in this game, trading very well against the army of Patience, and he's gonna cut him off from the retreat here.
The crowd is starting to feel it. It's just Stalkers against Lurkers, and the Netwars people, they know that that's a good fight for the Lurkers, as this one Immortal is starting to run very low on HP as well. The Overlord does get picked off there, but Patience is kind of stuck. He's just running around. The only way I can see Patience making a comeback here is Disruptors. Disruptors could get the job done, but obviously by the time that he has Disruptors, Nerchio could go into maybe Mutalisk or even a Great Aspire.
And here's the Blink Stalkers of Patience that we know and love him for, but and they do get a hatchery kill, which is fantastic. He's trying to get a 4th Nexus up while this DT comes and tries to get another hatchery kill, but didn't quite get it. Nerchio is still mining on 4 bases versus the 3 of Protoss. Obviously, that income difference is relatively negligible at this point until the mining kicks in, but Nerchio going for a big attack here.
That Warpin just revealed that base, because the base was actually not spotted. It's going to force a cancel immediately. One Lurker does get picked off. It's important that Nerchio doesn't let himself get outmaneuvered too much by these Stalkers, but normally no Protoss in this world is supposed to win with just Stalkers against Roaches, Lynx, Hydras, and above all, Lurkers.
That's exactly right. Blink Stalkers are not going to win this fight at the best of times, and they're being pushed back. They are nicely upgraded, but so are Nerchio's units. And Patience keeps getting cut off. Nerchio always tries to wrap around and let him not back into his natural, forcing him to go the long way, all the way to the 3rd Nexus. Hive about to finish for Nerchio, and the scary Infestors on the way for him as well. He's in a great spot.
He gets another cancel on that 4th base of Patience, and Patience just running around with Stalkers. Just made a blink there, which means he can temporarily blink, but the units from Nerchio are a little too far away. He's going to try to go forward here. He gets actually a couple of Lurkers.
That's nice pick off there for Patience. Does he have enough to engage this army? Does not look like it. Reinforcement from Nerchio coming up towards that 4th Nexus. Patience really needs this to finish, and he needs it to hold to be able to stay alive in this game. All the probes dying as they long-distance mine back into the natural. And if there's a fungal here, Patience is in big trouble.
Well, he just blinked forward into Zerglings and a bunch of Hydralisk as well.
And he's on creep now.
Yeah, most of these Stalkers are in a lot of trouble. The Infestors are getting very close to landing perhaps a fungal, but it doesn't matter.
GG! Nerchio gets himself game 1 against Patience.
Sick game, very fun game. Nerchio is just good against playstyles like that, right? Sit back and make carriers, he hates that. Be active with units, try to out-multitask him. Nerchio's like, I embrace that. Come on, let's bring it on, let's trade, you know, let's be fast. That's what he loves.
Yeah, this is definitely the ZvP style that he's strong against, and so far so good for the Polish Zerg. Let's go to the desk with the guys to see how it's going in the other games.
All right, welcome back to the analysis desk, guys. Keeping everyone updated as much as possible. We do have our 2 series going underway at the moment. We're going to check in with Pig first, who is in Serral versus Pili.
Let's dive straight into game if we can. It's getting intense. Serral managed to nab game number 1 versus Pili with a 12-pool pressure, going into what seemed like a pretty even game, but hit him with a very fast Hydra timing and managed to kill him just as his carriers were coming out. Here, though, in game number 2, it has been absolutely wild. Serral picked up a bunch of queens and used them to support a Ling Bane attack.
Right.
on the third base, took it out, but the carriers got out. They survived, and now he's got Corruptors going in, trying to snipe off units. There's Adepts killing drones, Ling Bane run-bys. The game's pure chaos right now, still too close to call.
Thank you very much, Pig, as we do now check in with Artosis, who is currently in Zest versus True, very important as well.
Zest versus True, game number 1 did go to Zest. He held on Paladino Terminal and all in by True.
Yep.
And here we are. It's Cactus Valley now, and True. You know, Zest opened with Glaives into Phoenixes, so in the Korean meta, you always go into Bane Hydra after that. But he's actually skipped getting Bane speed and is instead just putting on lots of pressure here, trying to end this game. But Zest's defense so far has been really, really strong.
Yeah, looking good there. Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. As it stands at the moment, we have Serral, Zest, and Nerchio getting themselves 1 extra map. If those 3 were to win, then I believe, looking at my numbers here, then those 3 would be the people to advance. But still, it is all very much so up in the air for now. Thank you very much, gents. We'll check in with you in just a moment. For now, though, we're going to head back over to the series with the casters.
Thank you very much, James. Very important little update there. I think he's correct. If those 3 win, the 3 people that are up 1-0 right now, that should just be the 3 players that will advance, because there will be no ties. It will just be 3-2, 3-2, and everything is very straightforward. But that game between Pili and Serral looked kind of close.
It looked a little hairy. Couldn't really pick a winner from what I saw there. It was just whatever we get on the preview monitor. Pretty much whatever the guys on the laptop are seeing. Well, rather what you guys at home are seeing. So this is actually still like the business end here at Group C. Everything's up in the air in the next few minutes. We, you know, we'll find out very, very shortly, actually. It's not far away from seeing our top 3 go through.
And the next map is going to be played on Newkirk City Precinct. A tough one, Maynard.
Let's introduce these players. In the bottom left, from Euronics, this is Nerchio. And in the bottom right, from Dead Pixels, this is Patience.
Had a little chat with Nerchio just the other day, and he actually told me that on Newkirk City, he just doesn't have a great win record. And while he was talking to me about it, he kind of tried to figure it out himself. Why is that the case? And he's like, I don't particularly hate the map. I absolutely don't like it, but I don't hate it. And then he thought about it. He's like, maybe it's just because I think one of my strengths is are my engagements, and I could only nod. I mean, if King Arthur says that to you, you only nod and you agree. Obviously, he had a very valid point, as we saw that earlier today. Nerchio is fantastic in late-game engagements. He's like, but in Newkirk, there's only so many ways you can attack, and it's very hard to set up a flank. There isn't really a whole lot of high ground, low ground. So he said maybe that's one of the reasons why this is a map that just doesn't suit me that well, because I don't get the space and I don't get the flanks that I normally rely on.
Yeah, there are, like, it looks open in the middle, but it does get quite choky depending on where you engage. But you know, some of the biggest, most open areas are around like the front third expansion if you do opt to go in that location.
Yeah, but like because of the statue over there and the ramp, there isn't really all that much. Maybe a little bit on the north side, but then you can get cut off again between that potential 5th base and the statue. It gets tricky. What's also fun to see here is that Patience has opened up with a double gate. Nerchio himself just went hatch first, I believe, and followed up with a spawning pool.
Yep, so double adept opening here. It's pretty much a pretty vintage Legacy of the Void opening here in PvZ. And, you know, 2 adepts, they single shot a drone, so it's a nice little run around, and you know, they have a lot of hit points, they have the ability to shade, so it's a little bit tricky for Zerg to hold against them, but obviously Nerchio, he's done this dance before, he knows exactly what he's up against with that Overlord.
Yep, in the beginning of Legacy of the Void, it was truly all about the adepts doing some damage. These days, whenever people open up with double gate, it's more about, you know, the follow-up. These adepts are obviously just here to test the waters. They can force out a couple of links. If you're lucky, you get an adept, or you get a drone, or maybe 2. But it's very unlikely that the first 2 adepts can just kill more than 3 drones against someone like Nerchio. But it's often an alley-oop for yourself, where the follow-up is going to be very strong, whatever that follow-up may be. We do see the Twilight Council go down. Could be Dark Templars, could be more adepts. We'll see.
We'll see indeed. We've got the shade in here from Patience heading into the main. Will he let the shade finish? Yes, he will. And Nerchio immediately burning down one of those adepts. And it looks like we actually got a pretty important update here about the Group C. So, Roddy, take it away.
Yep, Sero won 2-0, so he was able to defeat that Void Ray Carrier army. He will advance. Zest won 2-0 as well. Things were looking pretty good for Zest on Cactus Valley. So both those guys are true. I also believe that Sero has a better map score than Zest. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe they're tied. But in that case, Sero should be first in the group because he did manage to defeat Zest. So that makes it very simple for us here and all the viewers. The winner of this series will advance. No more complications.
Ooh, possibility of 2 Koreans or 2 foreigners going through in Group C. Exciting times ahead. And it is going to be resonating glaives here, Roddy. So probably going to see a lot of adepts here from Patience instead of the Archon drop.
That is gateway number 3, correct? Yeah, so
I think so, yeah.
Just 3 gates for now. I wonder if Patience would be...
3rd Nexus.
Well, he does it very fast, by the way.
Oh, cancel here. Nice move from Nerchio.
That's massive. It's just a couple of links. These were still the links that Nerchio had early on, so this was not an extra investment. He could perhaps get an adept there. No, he doesn't want to settle for the adept. He wants to get a couple workers, and the adepts are out of position. This is really good damage by Nerchio.
Wow, great start for the Polish Zerg here. He gets 2 worker kills, nearly gets 3, and delaying the 3rd Nexus. Fantastic run by with these lings. Even if they all die, I'd say that's a good trade.
Yep, and he's still being annoying. That's the most frustrating part here for Patience, as Nerchio has plenty of time right now to get some roaches out. I personally prefer on a map like this to see the Zerg play defense with Ling Bane, but it's really a stylistic preference, right? Like some people just prefer to have some of those more beefy roaches, but some Zergs are incredibly confident in their ability to just defend with Ling Bane. And whenever it's a Ling Bane, you often don't just defend, but you completely shut it down. You know, you get the wraparound and it's over. While with roaches, it's often a little bit more of dancing back and forth and you're trading.
Looks like an Overlord kill here for Patience. Does get that. So we see that Lair just about to finish with Nerchio, and he did drop his Roach Warren nice and early here in this game. A little bit different from the first one, so he's going to have Roach speed as soon as possible here, and a good supply of roaches. We see that there's a cluster of them already out in the creep, on the creep spread, which is looking quite nice, by the way, for Nerchio at this stage of the game, all the way up in the Intel Extreme Masters logo.
Yeah, that was nice, of course, about these links, that we're also able to get the Kenso on that Nexus, forcing those extra minerals to be lost and then able to pick up those workers. That gives you so much freedom. That's a little dirty though, Maynard. I don't like that. You can't put the tumor right on top of it. Come on.
Oh, Nerchio doesn't care about branding. He cares about victory, Roddy.
He's always wearing the same cap though. As his War Prism from Patience is more than halfway through. +1 is on the way as well. Does he have an Immortal yet? No, right?
No, I think the Prism's the first thing out of the Robo. Yeah, it is. So, gonna have the Warp Prism out there. How many gateways? He's on 3 gateways still? Okay. 2 more on the way here.
You know, I actually kind of like to see from Nerchio, don't make any additional tech buildings, just make roaches. Nothing but roaches. And that's kind of what he's doing so far. 3 additional overlords are going down. Obviously, roaches in a straight-up fight against adepts with glaives, they'll do very fine. They'll ignore those glaives. And if you don't have immortals to fall back, the roaches can even kind of ignore Pylons and Photon Overcharge because they really are quite tanky units.
Now, the roaches are out on creep, but they're not that far, and it is connected all the way to main, so he can retreat really quickly if he needs to. These roaches just in the natural here, but Patience is going for the main with an adept drop. Nerchio, though, reacting very quickly, getting up in the face of that drop, will bully it away with a little bit of damage. 3 drones going down.
The Baning Nest is being thrown down as well during all of this. As
very good against adepts.
Patience sees the roaches and he's like, just in case this guy holds down the roach button, I really need to get some immortals out. So the first immortal's more than halfway done. Getting a couple of drones there is nice, but I think overall, Patience needs a little more damage. He has quite a bit of money. He's going to wipe in a couple of additional units now. Getting a cancel on his sport base would be great for the Korean Protoss.
Decides not to go for it. I feel like that's that would have been a pretty easy cancel there, but I mean, Patience.
The thing is though, like he only has adepts there, and adepts are pretty bad against buildings, so I guess then you would be forced to wipe in a couple of zealots, but then you can get away. That's a massive commitment, and if you wouldn't be able to get the kill, maybe he feels like he needs those units at home to survive against the potential attack from Nerchio.
Well, some Stalkers coming in for Patience, his unit of choice, and we have the Immortal count starting to get up there, and Blink about halfway done, so these Stalkers aren't as scary as they could be just yet, but they're not far away from it, and they're getting +2 attack as well. That Forge actually went down with the Robo, so this is a pretty early upgrades here for Patience.
Corrosive Ball, he wasn't going to try. I would always try, Maynard.
Yeah, the YOLO Biles.
you'll miss every ball you don't shoot.
That's right. That's actually right. Even if you hit the prism 1 time out of 50, that could be in a tournament.
Infestation bit being thrown on as well for Nerchio, who's so far just kind of sitting back. Robo Bay being wiped in for Patience. That's obviously, I think, a very wise decision. I think in the last game, if he had access to those disruptors, I really think this could have been a completely different game on Belshire. It could also be for Colossus, but in a scenario like this, I think disruptors are a little more likely.
I think that when there's this many roaches, you'd rather have disruptors over the Colossus for sure. It's generally an anti-Hydralisk countermeasure. You see that kind of business, or anti-Lurker as well. So we see that the Patience is covering his base here with pylons, can overcharge them if there's any kind of shenaniganry heading in from the side.
I kind of wonder what all those cannons are all about. What is he so worried about? Does he think there is a Spire because he only saw a couple of roaches? Maybe he's wondering like, hey, what are you doing with your gas? You know, he might be saving up a whole bunch of gas. Now he's even getting Neural Parasite already.
Yeah.
Imagine if he steals a Disruptor and blows up the Protoss army.
That would be probably the most swag thing I've ever seen in the history of StarCraft II.
They'll break down this building. The fans would go wild.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So the Adepts blocking off the second attack path, or the easier attack path for the Zerg into that third, or I guess fourth Nexus location. Depth drop here, a little bit of harassment. They're getting a couple drones and get out of there without losing any. That's nice for the Patience.
Second robotics facility being wiped in now as well, so multiple disruptors will be able to be built at once. And these are all things that should be all right. You can see both players, I really think they're kind of nervous. They're afraid to overcommit. They're afraid to making a terrible mistake that could cost them the game and perhaps even the tournament. Nerchio knows as well, if he wins this game, he's through no matter what. Whoa, what? Why did you do that?
There's a little, just threw those lings away here, and that's a lot of his army. He's trying to remake it. 26 lings on the way. Nerchio looks like he has a lot of his army trying to defend up here. Patience, though, with the majority of his army, is heading towards the normal expansion location for your third.
Did you see how many hallucinated Phoenixes Patience made? Patience is so confused about going on. He's like, what are you doing with your money? And if you're just making lings and roaches, why aren't you showing me anything? Why don't you try to kill something of mine? You know, eventually I'm supposed to win this game. Now finally he will truly see what he was looking for. He sees a whole bunch of infestors and he sees the Banelings, and I think he will decide to just sit back perhaps for a little bit. Definitely don't fight his army on creep. I think that would be
suicide.
Yeah, that would be rough. I mean, it's possible. It all comes down to the engagements, but we know how strong Nerchio is in that department.
Patience has a pretty big bank here. He's nearly maxed. He's just trying to decide what he wants to do with the rest of his supply cap here. He's getting Psystorm, which is obviously fantastic against most Zerg units. +3 attack on the way as well. And there's the High Templar getting warped in now.
I think he needs a lot of Archons and a lot of Immortals, right, against this current army of Nerchio, especially with the Ultra Cavern finishing up. Now we do see the Spire going down, but while the Spire is going down, Stargate is being wiped in, so both players are already thinking about the next phase in the game, while I think the current phase is still going to be very important. Because once again, I truly believe with these armies, it all comes down to execution and engagement.
And executions and engagements have gone really well for Nerchio for the most part in this tournament. Very, very good when it comes down to engagements. These disruptors, very, very scary for the Zerg army. And Patience cannot lose those. They are his primary splash damage against this Zerg force.
Nerchio once again going to try to be annoying with a couple of lings. The door is wide open.
Big run through here for Nerchio. A bunch of the speedlings broke off into the natural, and a lot of them are into the main. The cannon helping out quite a bit here, but the natural's actually being shredded apart. 13 pros, 14 pros, 16 and counting going down here. Great run by Nerchio.
Wow, 17 workers just like that. I was actually amazed by the fact that Patience still has 62 workers left. So even though that was good, it's really not the end of the world for Patience, because 62 workers is more than 20. Is he paying attention on Panic Force Field? We've all been that, Patience, don't worry. Has to be careful, the Fungal could land.
Yeah, and the Fungal does. A bunch of the Stalkers at the front get caught here. Another Fungal on the Stalkers. The Disruptors looking for those Infestors. They may have gotten one there. Oh, there's connection on the right. Very nice for Patience. Nerchio coming from 3 different angles, though. The Corrosive Bile connecting. He has Neural Parasite. The Disruptor is on cooldown, though, so he couldn't fire it off. And the Immortal's being taken as well. Patience bullied all the way back to his Nexus.
Patience is losing a lot of very expensive units.
Oh,
Does get a good connection.
Very nice.
He needs more than that. He just, that could be the one.
Ooh. I need my breath. I nearly choked on like all the spit in my mouth just with that Oh, man. So the Disruptors didn't quite get the Infestor Ball there, and Nerchio still keeping his very, very important part. His gas-heavy part of his army is still alive. Patience reinforcing his Disruptors.
You know, I'd like to see more Robos from Patience.
Oh, this is very good.
Robo units are so incredibly important right now. He's so worried about Mutalisk. The Spire is taking a lot of damage to me, the Prism. The Prism will
finish it. The crowd goes wild. The Prism goes down. And we see that Patience is struggling to spend his money here. He needs these Immortals out because there are Ultralisks and there are Roaches and Ravagers that he needs to deal with.
And he needs to worry about that Great Aspire too. I mean, he does have a Fleet Beacon already, so he could potentially get some Tempest, but he's really not that rich. This fight has to go well for Patience, otherwise it could be the end of his tournament run. Those connections were good, but Maynard, will he hold?
That's a big question, Roddy. Feedback's going down here. Looks like it might have been an Overseer. The Infestor's here, trying to find that angle to get on the Protoss army and fungal it to death. All the probes of this fresh Nexus, the fifth Nexus in the front, going down here. There's the Neural Parasites from Nerchio. The Disruptors, the Archons have all been stolen. Nerchio!
That's sick. He just killed Stalkers with the Disruptor of Patience.
Just disrupted over the Protoss army. That is so sick.
Oh my god.
I'm looking forward to SC2 highlights when I check my Twitter later.
But I must say, the supply is actually pretty close. A couple of sentries will get picked off. I don't know, how is Patience supply so high after he lost 30 workers and he lost Stalkers to a Disruptor? I don't think I'd ever say that in a PvZ, but that's what happened.
Ling run by here from Nerchio, and you're absolutely right, Roddy. After all that, you wouldn't think it, but there is a ton of Protoss army still alive here. 12 more Infestors on the way for Nerchio. He must have lost quite a few of them.
Goes for the Ultras again, perhaps worried about going into Broodlords because he might be worried it takes too long, and he saw the Stargates. He knows that Patience has all the right tools, right? He has that triple Stargate and the Fleet Beacon. So as cool as that was, and I mean, obviously, how often do we see a Disruptor being taken over by an Infestor and killing Protoss units? Patience is still in this game, make no mistake, because that is one hell of a Protoss army.
And it has +3 attack. Those Archons hit very hard. And he's warping in more High Templar, getting more Archons back at home. Nerchio still powering those Infestors and Ultralisks. They are upgraded, but this Protoss army hits so hard, and those Immortals are all still alive as well.
Could see it one more time. Couple of disruptive shots, kind of connect with, I don't know, a couple of links I believe it was, but that's about it. You have to work. How many observers does Patience have? Does he have an Oracle or something? Okay, he has 3 observers, that's good. Because he needs to keep track of the Infestors, because if he loses his Immortals, the Immortals can kill the rest of his own Protoss army very quickly. I mean, I have to think back of good old Idra and his highlight videos in the days, you know, always steal the Immortals, a Protoss unit, they're very good, you know. It's like Roach and Infestor. This goes back to 2010, but yeah, you have to make sure you can protect your own Immortals.
Patience blinking just cause. Heading over to the fifth base location here. The Lings running by, looking like there might be another probe line, but Patience has been pretty good about his Sim Cities. And he does actually eliminate those Lings with the overcharges. So these Ling run-bys from Nerchio haven't been effective for a little while here. Patience has been all over it very easily, and Hydralisk Dan going down here. I don't know why.
Kind of random as well. I'm not 100% sure why he feels like he needs a Hydra. A couple of Archons will get taken
3
over.
Archons taken. There's Disruptor shots though. They get 1 Ravager for 3 shots. Not super worth it for Patience. And the 3 Archons are now Nerchio's, and he uses them to bully Patience back. Patience has killed his own Archons.
Yeah, but there was really nothing else he could have done, right? I don't want to fault him for that because Nerchio was controlling them.
Whoa!
By.
Bailey's coming in here and getting 13 more probes. And now Patience's economy is not looking super good. Down to 40 probes against the 67 of the Zerg.
Yep, and most important thing, 40 probes and no bank. So he's immediately going back to building workers, 5 probes at a time. Nerchio's being very active this game. This is a super high level game from both sides. I love the way that Patience has been hanging down.
Big Disruptor hits on the Zerg army. A couple of the Ultralists go down, and Infestor on the right as well. But Patience has a lot of his army neural parasited here. Nerchio with all these neural parasites bullying back the Protoss. The Stalkers and the Archons, a lot of them are still alive and they're doing a ton of damage. Nerchio being pushed back to the hatchery. A lot of his army's gone down here. Patience with the army supply advantage as he pushes forward, and this hatchery is going down.
Yeah, Nerchio has a lot of gas, but he doesn't have a lot of minerals, so it's going to be very hard to deal with these Archons. He stole quite a few of them, but apparently not enough, and he stole a lot of Immortals, but 2 Immortals did survive that dance. A couple of Disruptors are still alive. What a game by Patience. He really had to play his like absolute heart out to survive and just not die here, as one disruptor shot does whip, but he's still on creep. It's a tiny bit scary.
Oh, getting infested there. Nice disruptor hit. 2 hatcheries going down in this push from Patience so far. He's deep on the creep, but he still has so much army that he feels pretty confident to press the issue here, taking out creep tumors as he moves forward with this observer. Yeah, Hydralisk's on the way here for Nerchio. He's got Infestors as well. Another run by here, but Zealots to meet the run by.
I think this is it, man. I
Oh,
think this
big
is the
fumble.
all-deciding push. Can Nerchio clean this Protoss army up? I'm not sure if he can, but if he does, I think he will advance.
There's a disruptor hit. The 2 Ultralisks disappear here, and he really needs to not lose any more units if he wants to win this game. Patience blinking forward, taking out these Infestors. Where is Nerchio's army? He's waiting for the right time to strike. He's being patient, but maybe a little bit too patient here. He needs to engage.
Oh, a couple of Archons are left behind. Maybe those Archons could die. Disruptor shots do connect with the Hydras. This is it. Can Nerchio clean up this Protoss army?
Neural Parasites going down on 3 of the Archons here, and the Ultralisk coming in to meet Patience's army. A bunch of the Archons do die. Some of them are still alive, and now they're back in Patience's command, and it's too much. Wow. GG! And Patience is going to force this to a game 3.
What a game by Patience with his tournament life on the line. It really felt he was behind for a while. At times it really looked dicey. He lost a lot of workers. He had to worry about so many different things. Stepped very deep on creep, but somehow he got the job done. That was a really impressive game by Patience.
Oh, man.
That was fun, though. That game had everything. I mean, the Disruptor, that was awesome. But Patience is hanging in there despite the fact he lost so many workers, getting the right composition, thinking ahead of the situation, having all the Stargates, but not just blindly making Tempest and seeing that they will end up being useless in fights like that because they don't have the DPS. That was just a really cool game.
Yep, patience was patience.
Yep.
Actually, not often you can say that with his... Because he does tend to play against his ID there. He likes to be aggressive. He likes to blink forward. He's a chance taker. He's a risk. He likes to throw the dice. But Nerchio, another loss on Newkirk Precinct, but a very late game, super high level ZvP for his second match here.
Yep, the final map of this entire group is going to be played on Abyssal Reef. Will it be Nerchio advancing to the round of 12, or is it going to be Patience? It's hard to call, Maynard.
It's very hard to call. You know what's not hard to call? That everyone on camera right now, 90% of them want to see Nerchio go through here in map 3.
You know, I thought that you were going to say that everybody here on camera is awesome, but then you said like, no, 90%. I was like, wow. What has
savage.
What has 10% ever done to you, man? These people are awesome. Massive shout out, of course, to the Polish community that is always here. They always show up. They always bring the flags.
Net Wars!
Net Wars fighting.
That's right.
Emu his followers.
Yes, that's it. The army. And at the bottom right here, winning game 1, losing game 2. Will he win game 3? This is Nerchio!
I love those glasses. Those are very cool. He even has branded glasses. I wish I had branded glasses, man.
Maybe a bit more practice, Roddy, and you can make it. In the top left here, from Dead Pixels, this is Patience! One more map to decide. It all comes down to this map. Who goes through with Cyril and Zest?
We already saw both players being a tiny bit hesitant early on and making massive commitments or truly committing to attacks. And I think it's going to be more of that over here. Even though it seems like Patience is going to go Nexus first on Abyssal, he laughs in the face of danger, Maynard.
Yeah, he just does not care, and he's looking for that natural attribute. So this is something that Nerchio's fine with. He just takes the further away expansion, but this is something that Patience can capitalize on later.
For like 5 seconds right now, Patience is very worried. He's like, because he's like, you're supposed to send a drone out right now. You're supposed to send a drone. It's like, oh my god, don't tell me that the moment I go up this ramp, there's like 12 Zerglings running across the map, because if you go Nexus first, I mean, you're not 100% dead, but it becomes pretty hard to deal with early pool openings. But fortunately for Patience, Nerchio just decided to expand elsewhere.
Yep, so we are progressing in the early stages of the build here for ZvP. Lovely little dude. I still love Abyssal Reef so much, man. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the color set. Maybe I just like pink and purple. Maybe I just like pink, purple, and blue.
I think you like purple fish.
Yeah, I like purple fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Every time you zoom in on the fish, that's when you talk about how much you like this map.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. I don't know.
Maybe one day, Maynard, when I come to
Those fish are green, so I'm not going to mention them.
when I come to Australia for that beautiful wedding of yours, maybe I'll get you a purple fish.
Deal. I'll accept it.
So you see Nerchio, I'm a tiny bit surprised that Nerchio just decided to expand where he actually did. It slows his economy down a tiny bit, and the main reason why it slows his economy down is that it just takes a little longer before drones that are being spawned in the main base actually start mining. And you may not think that it makes a big difference, but it does, especially early on. Wow, there's a treasure.
Treasure, but you know what? That's nowhere near $250,000, which is what we have on the line here
Damn,
at Katowice.
damn, you're good, Maynard.
Yeah, that's why I get the big bucks, man.
Oh, you too?
Not even 5,000 followers, but here I am.
Am I left behind again? Double gate follow-up over here for patience. But yeah, anyway, what I tried to say is that early on you don't have a lot of workers, so every probe that's not mining indirectly or directly has an impact on your economy. And especially if you take the expand a little bit further away than every drone that pops, it just takes a little bit longer and it does really add up. But it seems like Nerchio is not too bothered. He just wanted to make sure that he could expand and he didn't want to deal with that probe blocking his hatchery in the first place.
Little run by Lings here, looking for a third Nexus. Stargate is the option here for Patience, and Nerchio just droning back at home. He's got his third hatchery about to finish. Two Adepts coming in here. Oh, gonna get a tumor. Oh, not quite.
No DPS. It's important that Nerchio doesn't lose too many drones over here, because early on as a Zerg, you really don't want to bleed that much, especially not because this was Nexus first. But Nerchio does a great job there in running those works around. I have no idea how these Lings were just able to walk by, but somehow the Lings made their way into the main base, and this is really frustrating. Great scout for Nerchio, and he also gets 2 workers. My Protoss heart is hurting.
And the Zergs clap with glee in the crowd as they watch. There always has to be a winner and a loser, buddy. That's what StarCraft's all about.
Sometimes we have a tie.
Sometimes.
Strange against Bolt.
Never forget.
No, they just didn't want to have a winner. They're like, we're both really good at this game. Can't we just both advance?
Yeah, don't often see the best of 5 go to game 6.
No, it was kind of rare, but super awesome.
Indeed.
This is nice though for Nerchio. I mean, it didn't look like that much damage, but just a couple of Lings running around in the main base, picking off 2-3 probes and forcing a little bit of lost mining time. +1 melee on the way already.
Ooh.
You might go for a big swell of Lings and try to cancel this third base. It's a little bit risky whenever you do that, because if you don't get the cancel and he just saves the day with both an overcharge and an Oracle, this Oracle does take quite a bit of damage.
Oh yeah, quite a few spore shots there. It gets 2 drones. Queen nearly kills it, but not quite. It is still alive, so we'll see that come into play a little bit later. Third Nexus dropped here for Patience.
I have to admit, I love watching Patience. He's just so reckless in everything he does. He's like the most fine-tuned Protoss ever. He's not like the most solid Protoss ever when it comes to defensive play, but he's just fun. He brings the action, and he always goes in there. And after he goes in there, that's when he will think like, oh, maybe I should get out, or maybe this was a good idea or a bad idea. Wow, that's a fast fleet beacon. That's a super fast second Stargate as well. And this is one build that Nerchio does not enjoy playing against.
Yeah, we're going to see carriers on the menu shortly here for Patience. And this is part of the reason why Nerchio lost to Pili Pili earlier.
Yep, Nerchio does have quite a bit of army supply. He's going to probably let these Adepts finish up because it's Patience, and he always lets it finish up, but not this time.
Except for that one time.
Yeah, except for this one time you announced it. That was probably the right call, because there were 2 Queens and a whole bunch of Lings. Nerchio's making a Roach Warren. He's going to see the second Stargate. Does not see the fleet beacon and Stargate number 3. But he kind of knows what time it is. Again, he goes for the Spire. Artosis was questioning this decision, and I can't blame Artosis that much. Meanwhile, the Link got a surround on all these Adepts. A couple of Adepts did survive. First carry on the way. I'd prefer to see a Hydra then, and just go for it like Hydra Bane all the way, baby. That's the way that I like to see it. Maybe Nerchio can do something with all these Links, but if he doesn't, this is gonna get rough, Maynard.
Yeah, absolutely. Nerchio bullied away by Overcharge here with a lot of Lings. Decides to pull back, doesn't want to lose them all.
We did see a little bit of Serral, how Serral dealt with it. And what we did see from Serral is mass expand. And that's kind of what Nerchio's doing right now, right? He double expands immediately. Maybe you go up to like 80 workers, and that's when you just start trading. You make a whole bunch of Corruptors. Don't make Mutas. I really don't think Mutas is the right call.
No, not at all.
You make a whole bunch of Corruptors, and you start trading. Even if you lose 6 Corruptors for a carrier, that may look bad, but if your economy is that much stronger, it might be worth it.
If you're 5 base versus a 3 base,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you have more economy, you can just sink that back, and the name of the game is just trying to trade as best as you can against these carriers and picking them off as often as you can. big Oracle tag here, but nearly goes down.
How do you feel about that Carapace upgrade?
For the flying units.
Yeah.
I would want more punch. I'd want more bang for my buck with my, with my Corruptor volleys. They don't have super high DPS.
Yep.
So.
I feel the same way. I'd say like you get a bunch of Corruptors and you try to get attack. He goes Mutas again. Mutas against triple target. I mean, Carriers and Void Rays are kind of slow, and obviously it feels silly when we're sitting here questioning what Nerchio is doing, but you know, if Patience somehow sniffs this one out, if he doesn't take a lot of damage, second Spire is on the way.
He can just two Starport Phoenixes.
Yeah, he has three.
Three.
Yeah, he has three already. So you get any Impulse Crystals, and the moment you have like 5 Phoenix, or even 3 Phoenixes with any Impulse against these
He's
Mutas.
Phoenixes already.
Yeah.
2 on the way here for Patience.
I guess he saw a Muta because he used Revelation. We'll see, can Nerchio start picking up some of these expensive air units, because this is a bizarre way of dealing with all of this.
Yeah, the mass expand is great. Patience obviously not aware of this hatchery in the top. Unit-wise, they're already kind of wondering what's going on, but you know what? Nerchio is a lot better than us at the game, so we'll just have to see how he pulls through. And this is very nice for Nerchio. He's getting probe damage here. The Phoenixes are meeting the Muta Ball, though.
Yeah, that's about it, I'm afraid, though, for these Mutalisks. Has a good micro on these Phoenixes. Beautiful play there by Patience. Shouldn't really end up losing that many Phoenix. Maybe one will go down because he has other things to worry about. No, look at this pilot. He gets all the Mutas. That's beautiful. I mean, obviously, Phoenixes have more micro potential than Mutalisks, or, the other way around. But it's still awesome to just see 3 of them kill everything. This is good for Nerchio, however.
And that's a kill, not a cancel as well. So great pick off there for Nerchio. A little bit slow on the trigger there was Patience, but he still has a very, very scary army. It's starting to get up there in the supply. Nerchio throwing in those Corruptors now getting +1 attack. He's got double Spire here.
I think the most important thing is that Nerchio keeps denying that fort base. He has a lot of units on the ground, and Patience doesn't really have a whole lot that can deal with all those Zerglings that have those upgrades as well.
Corruptors really want to pick a fight with these Phoenixes, but the Phoenixes don't want none of that. Oh, is he going to...
He has to worry, man. I don't think any Impulse Crystals is ready yet, but if it was, these Corruptors would be in a lot of trouble. He's starting it right now immediately, realizing like, okay, are you actually trying to fight me? Mass air against mass air? Well, I've got 3 starports, let's go, let's dance.
And he's starting to get more of those Void Rays. They're obviously, with their overcharge, very, very good against Corruptors.
This is big. If Patience is able to secure this fort base, I think it's going to be very, very rough for Nerchio. Phoenixes are out of position. I think that Patience might want to use those Phoenixes at home. Can Nerchio get another kill or cancel?
Oh, he's going straight for the Mothership here. And he's going to take out the army of Patience with this Overseer actually detecting it. Oh, Patience has to give it up. He's letting it go because this 4th Nexus is so important for him. And doesn't want to lose these carriers. Nerchio moving forward with these Corruptors. Patience warping in from the ground. These Adepts and these Sentries are doing nothing. Yep. And there goes the Mothership.
Carriers were not doing a whole lot either. Phoenixes are finally back home now, but a couple of Overseers are messing with the AI. The Lings are causing a lot of trouble on the ground. Patience doesn't have...
Nexus.
Yep.
Big pick off there for Nerchio, and he can just leave. Very well done.
Oh, that's a big pick off. Patience does have money though. It seems like Patience is a little bit lost. He's saving some of his air units. They're on the top side of the map. It's almost like he's hiding them. I guess he doesn't want to lose his carriers one by one.
I think Nerchio knows that you've got carriers, mate. They need to hide them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he, in all seriousness, heading into the main here. And Caustic Spray is actually very dangerous. It's going to go straight for the main Nexus.
But now the Void Ray is going to show up. There's a couple of Stalkers below this as well. Good job there by Nerchio, not using all of his Corruptors immediately. Now he probably has to decide what he wants to do, but he gets the Void Rays and the Nexus, perhaps? No.
Oh, very close. He is going to get the Nexus. Caustic Spray on these Corruptors and not using all of the Corruptors on the Nexus means he can engage the air army. Huge pick off there for Nerchio. The Polish Zerg is in a fantastic spot. His army supply is great. He's got more workers. He's got 5 hatcheries all mining.
And all these Lings are about to get the wraparound. I don't think these Adepts have Resonating Glaives. No, well, the moment I say it,
he's
going to start upgrading Resonating Glaives. But without that, he's going to have a very hard time surviving on the ground. 11 Banelings being thrown in the mix now. And these Corruptors, they want to pick off another Nexus.
Oh, and they're going for it, Roddy. The carrier's forced to engage, but there's not that many carriers, to be honest. I think the Corruptors can actually beat the carriers and get the Nexus. Another Nexus kill!
That's crazy. Nerchio is definitely making this work now with just all these Corruptors. But it's important that eventually he gets the final blow. I mean, right now his army is big, But as long as Patience is like around 85, 90 army supply, look at the amount of gas that he has. He's getting a Templar Archives. Things are looking great for Nerchio, but Patience is not down and out just yet.
No, you can definitely get those scary gas units up. More caustic spray on this third Nexus. These Corruptors taking a lot of damage from these cannons. He decides better of it here. Going up into the main. Phoenix is doing a lot of drone damage back at home as well. 14 drone pickoffs. Nice job by Patience.
Ooh, a lot of those Corruptors are low on HP, and Nerchio is not that rich. I kind of thought this game was like heading towards a stage where we should say it's really over. What are these
carriers doing here? This is dead carriers if Nerchio comes home.
We saw the single Broodlord arrest today, and now we see the carrier arrest.
The Nerchio on the chase here. He has more Corruptors where that came from as well, and these carriers are going to go down. I'm a little bit lost for words, Roddy.
Yeah, I don't know either. Oh my God, this is a scary army. Patience just kind of completely stopped making air units. He's like, well, you've got like 100 Corruptors, right? Like, that's very cool. I've got Archons, I've got Stalkers, and I've got Adepts. I mean, Patience is down 30 army supply, but a lot of these Corruptors can't fight. The Baneling connections, I don't know. Oh my God, this is so close. Winner moves on. Loser is eliminated of the tournament.
Yeah, it's all coming down to the wire. Nerchio trying to get as many roaches as possible. He actually has a ton of Banelings here. They're rolling right into the heart of the Protoss force, and a lot of the Adepts and Sentries go down. Patience trying to split as well as he can. Actually, very nice splits there on the top, keeping a lot of those Adepts alive. The Corruptors in the air, kind of dead supply right now, looking for that Warp Prism. They are going to kill it.
Yeah, that's something, and now we have additional roaches on the way. That was really good. That was a lot closer than it looked. Single kill.
No! See you, carrier.
I really think it would have been worth keeping those bad boys at home at least, you know, to defend against run-bys, defend against links and whatnot, but alright, Nerchio survives. So I know that the numbers look like this game is incredibly over, but I mean, a lot of those Corruptors, they won't fight. If he runs across the map again with ground units and he gets a cancer on the Great Aspire or something, it is still possible for Patience. Patience is not down and out yet, and nothing is secured for Nerchio.
Well, Nerchio decides that these Corruptors are going to be better served to him as Broodlords. We got a Great Aspire halfway done here. Adrenal and melee upgrades heading towards +3, so they are going to be some very strong Zerglings here.
Take a look at the upgrades on the, so it's +2 attack, right? Okay.
2-2, yep.
And just +1 on the ground army of Patience. I mean, these ground units are not as strong as you would like. It's almost worth if you morph too many Corruptors in, try to get carriers out again. He still has the fleet beacon.
Yeah, and the Stargates as well.
Yeah. Ooh, a lot of Stalkers were the Stalkers there all along? Imagine if you had those Stalkers for the push.
Yeah, I think maybe they came home when the Corruptors rolled in because he didn't want to like lose another Nexus or the Stargates or something.
Maybe he didn't have, or maybe not.
Maybe not.
Nerchio is currently maxed out and he's getting his first 6 Broodlords. Meanwhile, Patience is getting another Robo. How often do you see this? It's like, okay, Broodlords are on the way. Well, let's get another Robo. That's not something you see very often. He should use that money and, more importantly, that gas to get an answer against these Broodlords.
Seems like Patience not ready for the Great Aspire. He doesn't seem to be expecting Broodlords at this point, but I mean, with our Caster God vision, we do see that 6 or 7 Broodlords will got morphed in for Nerchio here, and they're going to be knocking on the front door of Patience pretty shortly. There they are.
The last time I saw Nerchio having Broodlords, I thought the game was over and thought he was going to advance to the semi-finals of WESG, and suddenly it was Neep, so I'm not calling anything here, Maynard.
The Broodlings could actually set off the Stasis wards here. I nearly did a pig, called them Stasis. And there's one knocked off by the Ling here. Nerchio fully aware. Big blink forward by Patience, but now these Stalkers are going to get a lot of Banelings scrolling through.
Oh, those Banelings getting some pretty good connections. That is a lot of that Stalker.
Oh man, and Nerchio is on the prowl here. He is going Nexus hunting once more as these Broodlords start firing. Got to be careful though, another big blink by Patience, but every time he does it, he loses Stalker after Stalker to Broodlings, Banelings, and Roaches.
Nerchio is still maxed out. He's reinforcing with more Broodlords, more Berserklings, and Patience just keeps on blinking into Banelings.
That's a beautiful disruptor hit, but I don't think it matters, Roddy. There is just so much here from the Zerg. The army supply soaring ahead for Nerchio here, and a lot of that is here at the front of Patience. He just does not have enough, and Nerchio is going to be going through with Cyril and Zest as the 3rd place in Group C. Patience, GG's out. Well played, Nerchio.
Wow, what a game, what a series. That was amazing to watch. Nerchio will advance, most likely in third place, I believe, in this group. But it doesn't even matter. He advances, and that's the most important thing. And I think for him personally, he finally gets the job done against Carriers.
2 foreigners and 1 Korean going through for Group C, and the crowd is going insane. Well done and well played. Oh man. Ooh, I got the shakes a little bit. I got the chills. The nerd chills that Tasteless and Artosis keep talking about.
That was a crazy series. There was one moment there in the end where Patience walked across the map and it was just mostly Corruptus and he survived against the wave of Banes. I was like, does he actually have enough? Like, is this the end? But he, you know, Nerchio was able to just keep on reinforcing his own army, and obviously he had a couple of spine crawlers as well to fall back on. Got the job done. Had to fight very hard. Had to go very deep, but he did it.
What an incredible end to Group C there, Roddy. Group D not far away. We're going to have a winners interview after this break, and then we'll head to the boys at the desk and more games to follow with Group D. Do not go away, guys. We'll see you soon.